Well, during his high school years, he was one of the best players of his class, the best point guard of his class, and one of the top recruits overall. He was a McDonald's All-American. He played at the Jordan Brand Classic game and the Nike Hoop Summit and was MVP for all three. Was the NBA route obvious at that point?
I can't say for me that it was obvious, because I'm, still looking at him as this is
Right.
what do you say? This is my baby.
Yep.
You're going to, you're going to college, and I want you to have the full experience of college. But I know for him, that was a dream. He wanted to
Yeah.
go and play professionally. That's just what he wanted to be doing full time.
Yeah.
And so from that perspective, I think it was for him, it was pretty clear that's what he wanted to do. Uh, and didn't mean, that he was going to be able to do it,
Yeah.
because, it doesn't always work out that way.
Right.
And he, you know, as you know, went to UNC, and it was a challenging year,
Yeah.
a really challenging year for him. He had surgery, tore his meniscus, first time he'd ever had surgery. And then almost everybody on the team got injured.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what's going on now.
I was just going to say, I'm like, wait, how are they mirroring the magic? What's going on?
Like what's, not funny, but,
No.
ironic, but, yeah. So, but it all, it's all part of it.
Yeah,
It's
it
part of
is.
it. And, it's not quite the underbelly of it, but it's one of the downsides of it. Risk reward.
Absolutely. I just want to go back 2 seconds to your college process because I'm
Yes.
just interested in knowing what were your top two and why did you choose North Carolina?
The top two colleges.
Yeah.
I would say Oregon. Very different,
Yeah.
different coast, different
Yeah.
style of play. But I would say Oregon and UNC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Oregon and UNC, and I both, excellent programs,
Yeah.
top notch, both extraordinary coaches. Uh, but Cole ultimately made the final decision. It was his decision. His
course.
decision of UNC, and I think what I would say is it maybe felt a little bit like home for him. I think there was something about the Oregon. It was so far away
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be across, not just like across the country from New York City, and it wasn't like it was Portland. You get off and the campus is 20 minutes from the airport, but you get off the plane in Portland or wherever and to go to Eugene, Oregon. I think that's where it's like another 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive. So it would have
my
been
goodness.
really hard
Yeah.
for him to get home. Yeah. But that aside, seriously, I mean, Roy Williams is such outside of being a world-class coach, I mean, he's just such a special man who is really a teacher of the game. And he, as much as he's a basketball junkie, for him, it was really about the kids off the court more so than
Right.
on the court. Believe it or not. And that's what I felt. And that has, I don't know what it is about that man, but he kind of tugs at the heart of his players, and he, tugs at my heart.
Well, there's so much to say about Cole's career at North Carolina. He is so passionate and competitive. And the Tar Heels were known to be a winning squad and make the Final Four. And he suffered his, was it tear his meniscus disc, right? I believe.
Yeah, he
You're
had,
right.
yeah, and he still, that happened, and I think it was actually, I want to say 5 or 6 games into the season.
Yeah.
But he still played a couple more with it torn, not knowing it was torn.
Ooh.
Yeah. We just
Well,
thought it was just swollen or something.
oh, yeah. Well, of course, he's a kid, right? There's nothing ever wrong
Right.
until
That's
you're
right.
actually on the ground and you can't move it anymore.
That's right.
That's the only time they're going to admit to it, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I remember asking my son, like, well, why is your foot facing the other direction? Like, what's going on? Is it's okay? I'm fine. I'm like, I know, but it doesn't look good. Like, come sit over here. So, yeah, I completely understand. But when he returned, was there a lot of pressure for him to bring the team back to a
Mhm.
winning team?
No, it's interesting. There was actually more pressure for him to not go back from various people and
Right.
entities and just don't go back. So there wasn't so much pressure for, for him to go back. The pressure for him to go back was he wasn't finished playing college basketball and
Yeah.
he still wanted to go and help his teammates as best he could.
Yeah.
That was, what really motivated him. He wanted to play more for, Roy Williams
Oh, for
and
sure.
for the Tar Heels. And he really, again, he really bonded with his teammates. So he
Yeah.
wanted to go back and play and help them as much as he could.
Well, of course, those are his brothers, right?
That's right.
So there's no such thing as abandoning your brothers. At the end of the
That is
day,
absolutely right.
yeah, you start the season together, you're going to finish the season together, right? I
Right.
mean,
That's
that's,
absolutely
and
right. The
to
good, the
me,
bad, the ugly.
amen. You know what I mean? And looking at little ballers, that to me is in my mind where it cultivated for him. You know what I mean? Because I'm watching it and all the kids are bonding together, and like you said, like that
Hmm.
there's that brotherhood. So he brought that all the way with him. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
injured or not, he's like, listen, I'm coming back, and we are going to
Right.
finish
Right.
this. Not Cole's
Right.
going to finish it. We are going to finish
Right.
it. So kudos to him. Well, his season at North Carolina wasn't as great as expected, but he still chose to declare for the
Mhm.
draft. So let's talk about that a bit and the people who played a role in that decision.
That again, that was the decision to declare was his.
Hmm.
That was his decision. It was what he wanted to do. Again, that basketball bug for these players who just love the game. There was no, talking him into it or out of it. This was Cole,
Yeah.
very singularly focused on wanting to play basketball professionally and um, not having any distractions from doing it. And, uh, he wanted to just be able to focus 100% on it. So that's what he wanted to do. I
Listen,
didn't have, I mean, he obviously had conversations, but it was his decision.
yeah.
Like it was his decision what, college he ultimately went to. It was his decision. I mean, he of course, talks to us. He talks to me and my husband Ray and his father
Hmm.
Greg. We are, like his sort of his brain trust. But at the end of the day, he really wanted to declare.
Right.